Derivatives trading involves substantial risk of loss and is not suitable for all investors. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results.
So stressful when the world's on fire. Good God. I can't look at this, guys. Like, my strategy is you buy it and you hope that you got a good spot. Yeah, but we all think you're crazy. You don't fight this. No way. The markets are freaking out and you don't think that anything is wrong? Come back tomorrow and I'll lose it all. Should be fun.
Good morning, everybody. It is the 22nd. We got GDP numbers coming in today. Coming in here before Christmas, end of the year. Expecting things to be a little bit quieter. And I should say, I always forget to say this, but I have to say, if you're new or you're watching this on replay for the first time, I highly recommend you click that subscribe button and press the bell icon and set your notifications appropriately so that you know when we are live. Well, let's go to the charts. So, start with the ES. Of course, yesterday, over the weekend, pretty bad downturn. But here you can see, okay, we traded this bounce. It was an amazing bounce, I must say. And then we had a little bit of a drop overnight and a push up higher as well. So from, kind of a technical wave perspective, it looks like bulls are firmly in control again and are likely to try and push us up to new highs. Although I should point out there are some little oddities in the market. A lot of things making new highs yesterday despite the downturn. Well, other names that had been doing very well, like Tesla, dropping 6% yesterday. So Treasuries took the dive, and even when the E-mini was kind of dropping, they were just like, nah, we're staying down here. So we continue to get these situations where there's like a rise and then it's just not able to hold it. So, and you can see not a whole lot going on here in the spread. The news squawk is really loud in my ear for some reason. They upped their volume. Okay. Anyways, here's oil. Oil has not recovered, as opposed to many other assets. Here's gold coming back down. Copper extending losses. Now, this may be a result of some of the issues that China and Australia are having with each other, although I'm not entirely sure. It's kind of a little odd. We should also check in here. Where was it? Yes. Oh yeah, I want to note yesterday, small caps really took it when we came down here. Hold on a second here. I just want to make sure we understand how we're reading this. ES is the front one. So a little bit of strength in the RTY, but that coming off. And weakness in the tech stocks. So, oh yes, the dollar. I'm missing something. The dollar. The dollar still, they're trying to recover 90, but not quite holding it. Man, if the dollar goes lower, look out. Look out. That dollar is just going. Probably very dependent on what happens with the Brexit deal here. Right? Okay, text to speech here. We got 1 minute until the numbers. Trump signs federal spending stimulus legislation, hitting the wire from Zero Hedge. Good morning, Lobo. How are you? Get that in. Cool. Okay, so let's see here. What are we looking for? Oh, we also get Canadian average hourly earnings. Let's see here. GDP growth rate quarter over quarter, 33.1. That's what we're looking for. Oh, whoops. Need to come back over here. Thank you, Tony. There is a lot of squiggly lines on my charts, aren't there? And we're still waiting on the number here. Average weekly earnings year over year, 5.9 versus 6.9 for the Canadian number. President Trump issues executive order requiring that federal buildings feature beautiful architecture, huh? Yeah, okay, so what's the deal with the number? Okay, it's coming in at 33.4, slightly higher than expected at 33.1, but with such a high number, there was certainly a lot more room for it to be different. So that's pretty uneventful. That ends up being pretty uneventful for us. Now let's see. I want to see what is that GDP. Okay, core PCE prices 3.4 versus 3.5 coming through here. So slightly lower than expected on the PCE prices. We'll see what the price index says. That's estimated 3.7. Trading RTY and about to recover all losses for this year. Need to be cautious not to become greedy. Well, yeah. Well, I mean, the whole thing here is what justifies holding it in your strategy and what justifies taking it off. I certainly think that there could be further upside in the indexes. Still waiting. GDP price index. Deflator final 3.7. Okay, GDP price index quarter over quarter 3.3 versus 3.7. So the inflation numbers coming out here actually a little bit lower than expected, but high. I mean, 3% is high. Well, I'm just noting here that in the Treasury at 28, they've got 2,500 lots stacked there. And we are basically pegged to the open as, well, one tick above the open as the mid price. Yeah. This is slow. So I think this is a case where if we have a good spot, maybe we can let them ride, but that might have difficulty if we're trying to, you know, enter in somewhere in here. Yes. Squawkbox retweets Tesla's profitability is not based on selling vehicles. It's based on the regulatory arbitrage of them selling fuel credits to other manufacturers, says the former Ford CEO Mark Fields. They have got to fix that problem. He's correct. In terms of as a company, as a stock to continue moving up. Okay, well. Just a little bit of a drop here. See, some people on Twitter here reading it as like, oh, it was an upside surprise. It was spot 2% on a number that's 33%. Come on. Brannigan here saying new COVID-19 variant in a nutshell. Vaccine will eventually prove ineffective against a mutated strain of the virus. That is the reality. The vaccine will have to be altered year by year. Governments are locking down to save the healthcare systems from collapsing. And it's just a report saying that, they'll probably have a vaccine that changes every year. That is true. Well, they ticked up there for a second, 27.5, but came back down. Okay, well, looks like they don't want to fill me. A Maryland retiree says he lost $300,000 from his Robinhood account in a hack earlier this year. He says the company initially returned the money and then took it back. This is from Bloomberg, this story. What the what? That sounds crazy. I would be so mad. $300,000 and it just disappears and then it comes back. That's his life savings, right? Yep. Our team concluded its investigation and determined that your account was not compromised and that no unauthorized activity took place in your account. As a result of our findings, we removed the corrections made by Robinhood. You've got to be kidding me, man. Hackers drained out roughly $300,000 through options trades, which can be more difficult to identify as fraudulent rather than a simple removal of funds. He's filed complaints. Wow, that's awful. And there's no phone line for Robinhood. Okay, so they did decide to come back and get me. That's insane. We are hopeless, he said. This is my last savings. Oh dear. And $300,000 too. Like, that's not bad, bro.
Origin code says lol IDK of hackers who jump into random people's account and trade options and lose the money.
Right. But although maybe the hackers intended on losing the money in those accounts, right? Buy a bunch of options over here to help out their other positions that they've already got. Knowing that they're so far out of the money that there's no way that they're actually going to make money on them. "15 minutes ago on Zero Hedge funds may view Tesla's S&P sell-off as a negative catalyst." That sounds interesting. I'm just going to leave that out there. Oh, yes. Did you see Ripple says it will be sued by the SEC? Ooh. And what was Futures Trader 71 saying? "What are you doing to properly wrap up the trading year? In my opinion, wrapping up the year is crucial to next year's outcomes." Not trading it? I don't understand. What does wrap it up mean, FT? Most of my squawks here, like way back. Bunch of speculation about that the reason Tesla dropped 6% had nothing to do with it being added to the index, and rather a report that Apple was making a vehicle and battery. Which super bothers me. Am I the only person that is kind of bothered that Apple is making cars now? Like, you've been bad enough on computers and cell phones, and now you're gonna do the same thing to the car industry. You and me, says Origin Code. Yeah, there's companies, they're too big for one. But then two, I really don't like a lot of Apple's business practices, and I don't think that I would. You realize, like, if it's Apple makes a car, it's going to be like, oh yes, you can have tires on your car, but it's a special proprietary tire that you can only buy from us, right? Like, it won't be compatible with anybody else's tires. That's going to be the Apple car. And you can't just change the oil yourself or go to Jiffy Lube. You have to go to a new Apple car service center to change your oil. No, I'm not. Oh my gosh. Okay, so here's another thing that bothers me. This is probably going to be unpopular. I don't know. I'm just going through things, and I'm like, I got to. Maybe I need to say something that they really don't like, and that'll wake everybody up, because this market is pretty sleepy, isn't it? Tulsi Gabbard, $600 is a slap in the face to every American struggling due to the pandemic. You deserve better. How about we just not spend money? Or you could give us a tax holiday, but I'm not going to worship the politicians because they gave me my money back. You know what I mean? No, thank you. No. The real question here is, you think that you can just pay me off and I will ignore all of the other things that are going on and all of the other money that you're spending? Although on the other hand, I tell you what, conservatives, I thought conservatives are never going to get off this Donald Trump has won the election thing, even though I really feel strongly that they need to move on. Well, today they finally talked about something different, right? And the something different was that there's pork in the stimulus bill. Oh, no kidding, really? There's pork in a stimulus bill. It's not like a stimulus bill is like basically pork by definition, right? Like the whole point of a stimulus bill is to give people pork so that they will spend it in the economy, right? Even foreign aid, these countries use that foreign aid to buy stuff from us. And so even that can help the economy, right? Yeah, it's not saying that it's okay or that it's good necessarily, but I'm just saying, what did you guys expect? Of course there's pork in the bill. We've been talking about this for a year. You think that they're going to be able to pass it without some pork? Come on. Final quarter 3 GDP estimate 33.4 is stronger than expected and the highest on record, says Zero Hedge. I need to blow my nose. Okay. That was a pretty big nose blow. Rand Paul, we didn't have enough time to read the bill and voted against it. Of course not. I'm like, hey, good morning, Win. I know. I read some of these headlines from, and I'm like, have you guys not seen a stimulus bill? Have you not seen a bill passed before? Like, this is not unusual, folks. I guess AOC wouldn't know. She's never actually, this is the first time they've actually done something since she's been in office. So I gotta understand why she might be surprised. Because honestly, the only way that they're able to pass these things is panic and shoving it through really fast and stuff. Oh, I guess we're getting Red Book here. Ah, yes, in 5 minutes. Well, not much trend at all in here. No, sir. How is your nose? Is it feeling better? Yeah, it's feeling a normal-ish. Sometimes when we wake up in the morning, it still feels inflamed or whatever, but kind of gets dry more easily. November U.S. existing home sales will surprise downward amid a lack of supply and virus resurgence. The story from Zero Hedge. Little drop there. Well, of course, we have to start a slow day off on a loser, didn't we? Did you go stargazing to look at the Jupiter-Saturn conjunction? Yes. Well, no. So there are multiple theories on what the Star of Bethlehem was. Some believing that it was different types of conjunctions, or a supernova, or a comet. Stickball, how are you? I haven't seen you in a few days. Anyways, but the media is saying that this one was that what we're seeing, the conjunction of Jupiter and Saturn is what it was, because that sells clicks, right? Anyways, I did go out and look at it. My parents went out to the desert to look at it, but they left too early for us to come along. And my wife was like, "I'll panic, so we're not going to be able to see it." And I was like, "No, I'm pretty sure that you'll be able to see Jupiter." She didn't believe me, but it all worked out, and we went outside and saw it. Stickball says, "As good as you can be at 1 a.m., man." I forget you live over there. Jupiter, yeah. My whole thing is that TikTok told me that the world was going to end that day, and we're still here. What the heck, guys? Been misled. Lindsey Graham says Barr did a great job as Attorney General. That'll piss off a good number of Donald Trump fans. Oh man, I tell you what, I just can't. I'm getting tired of waiting to die, says Uzi. Yeah. I'm gonna live forever, but I just want something exciting to happen, that's all. It's been getting boring around here. Post-election blues, is that what I'm getting? No, I was just thinking about when I go to the Donald, this forum, I've been reading this is how I keep up on what the far right Donald Trump conservatives are thinking. And ever since the election, they've been 100% invested in that Donald Trump really won the election and that we're going to overturn the election result, etc., etc., etc. Well, it's not just that. Like, I get like they think that it was stolen and everything like that. But then anything that comes along that doesn't go their way, anybody that was involved is a traitor and deep state agent. So like here, Mitch McConnell saying that he's not going to challenge the election result in the Senate. Although senators already said that they're going to do that, but Mitch isn't going to help them, and I don't think it's going to be successful. Oh, here we're going to get the red book. Not that that's a number that tends to move us, but 0.9 versus -2.2 previously. Anyways, so with Mitch McConnell, they're all saying, "Oh, he's owned by China. He married a woman from Taiwan, and that means that he is owned by China." And I just read the most ridiculous things in conspiracy. Or he stole his seat too. Numbers don't match up in Kentucky. A Republican won in Kentucky? No, that's impossible. Implausible. I can't stand it anymore. I mean, the conspiracy theory people over there always kind of bothered me, but I'm sitting here like, okay, so did these people just completely take over, or are these like Russians and disinformation people? Because it's just unreal. So yeah, there's my rant for the day. Let's see here. What is Jake Sherman saying? The playbook this morning. Trump lines up losses. Trump is throwing an awful lot of weight behind two efforts that, if you're charitable, you can say he is certain to win, but if you're realistic, you can definitely declare he's likely to lose in a publicly humiliating fashion. First, he is going to veto the National Defense Authorization Act, which passed every year for 59 years. Aides and congressional allies have made it clear to Trump that his veto is likely to be overridden and have tried to get him to back off, but he does not appear at all moved by their pleas. Of course, he's going to reject it. Does it matter? I think Donald Trump at this point is more concerned about, what kind of impact am I going to have on American politics going on into the future. Other people, Republican nominees, will say, oh, yeah, Donald Trump, he rejected this, so we can do it too. Second, the president is spending his final days in the White House interested in a campaign to pressure members of Congress to join a futile effort to overturn the 2020 election. At the White House on Monday, his remaining congressional brain press gathered in attendance Mo Brooks, Jody Rice, Matt Gaetz, Louis Gohmert, Scott Perry, Jim Jordan, and Andy Briggs. And Rep-elect Marjorie Taylor Greene. Rudy Giuliani was there as well. Greene, who was elected a few weeks ago, tweeted a chart with Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell's poll numbers seeming to indicate that his standing improved in Kentucky after a Trump tweet. Of course, despite what the president may think, there are fractions in campaigns besides the social media feed. Even so, if the president and the White House think McConnell is going to be moved by this chart, they're learned nothing about the Kentucky Republican in the last 4 years. Well, I think he's right. They're not going to overturn the result of the election, and I'm just shocked that they're continuing to go through this like it's a serious thing when it's a Hail Mary. I heard a Republican today debunking the election fraud and then saying he was sure there were shenanigans in Kentucky. Does this help? No, well, no. Like, the thing is that Seth has the cough. No. I don't think so. Michael Flynn is going to get himself in trouble with the UCMJ Code of Military Justice. If you say so. Haven't seen anything on that. But the thing you got to realize is that at this point there are so many different claims of election interference. Right. I think that I saw a story that there had been something on the order of like 2,000 individual incidents reported. It's pretty crazy, right? So I really find it disingenuous when I go on the media and they say it's been debunked. Like the worst one was that that video in Georgia. They're like, no, that was debunked. That video does not show what you can clearly see with your own eyes. It's just like, what? No. They told the guys to leave. They were kind of misleading and got those guys to leave on purpose and got everybody else to leave and then kept counting. That 100% happened. And it's largely because of the signature requirements. Top of the ES profile looks funny. It is kind of a weird profile, isn't it? Well, I got stopped out on that trade. I'm surprised that I never got any positive excursions on it. Sure got a long ways down if they're gonna push back. Chinese military power and defense spending to suppress the U.S. by 2038. Okay. I saw 67 cases taken to court, and in each case, the judge says you're claiming fraud, and they say no and go and hold a press conference. Well, so just as an example, preventing the Republican challengers to be able to see and be involved in the process is illegal. It's just straight up illegal. Let's see here. What are some other cases? There is significant evidence to show that there are people that voted illegally. Like, particularly in Arizona, that people that were not legal residents voted. Significant body of evidence to look at that. And it seems to me that the courts are holding like a really high standard. So like you understand how you do this, right? Is you say there's no election fraud, and then you don't have the police investigate anything. So you can't get any kind of a warrant or anything to uncover the evidence. And then because you're not looking for the evidence, of course you can't get it. Right? Compare this to, for instance, what happened with the Mueller probe, right? They spent so much time digging for every teeny tiny little thing that they could to try and make Donald Trump look bad, and then they couldn't really come up with anything. They basically their claim was, well, once they knew that we had our probe up, they used every kind of legal and political maneuver that they could to weaken the probe. But yeah, of course they did. And if it was a Democrat, he would have done the same thing. So you see, and then you say that there's no voter fraud. So you can see how Republicans would kind of claim that that's BS, because they're going to say, well, you didn't find it because you're not looking. It's not like somebody went in and did a thorough investigation of all of these things and, got warrants and subpoenas and everything and went through the whole thing and then found out, okay, yeah, actually there is nothing there. No, it was like the instant that anybody said anything, they immediately dismissed it. But the issue here is that you've got to be on top of that much earlier. I think the biggest one, the most bothersome one, is the fact that Pennsylvania and many other states changed their election laws illegally. The legislature has to change it, right? And we had situations where the courts illegally overturned rules and stuff like that. Like in Pennsylvania, the Pennsylvania legislature intentionally crafted the legislation to say that you can't do mail-in voting, and if you do, then it's invalid. And then a judge said, no, you can't do that. Like that is a direct violation of the Constitution. But then the Supreme Court says that the states don't have the ability to challenge that. And Donald Trump is challenging it. But even if he's challenging it, the result is going to be that, well, they already voted. So then you have this situation in Georgia where the Republicans are saying, well, they changed the rules. That's true. They changed the rules over in Georgia illegally, in my opinion. So they filed a court case in the state that said that they changed the rules illegally. And you know what the court said? The court said, because you haven't suffered any harm yet, you don't have standing to... Are you kidding me? This actually is effing happening. Can you believe this stuff? So if you challenge it before, you don't have standing because they haven't voted yet and you haven't been harmed. And if you wait until after they do it, then it's too late to do anything about it. What a load of shit. So yeah, Republicans have every reason to be upset about this. And you know what, quite frankly, Democrats were upset about this stuff when they lost. And justifiably so, because there are things about the system that are pretty sketchy. And kind of are practically inviting fraud. And then anytime that anybody tries to do anything about it, they do everything they can to prevent us from injecting some security into the process. Did you hear about Quantopian being bought out by Robinhood? Nah. Well, so my understanding of it is not that they got bought out so much as it is that they pretty much failed on their own, and then Robinhood kind of came and picked up the keep, was charitable and picked up the pieces, right? There's not evidence enough of fraudulent ballots to change the outcome. Yeah, so somebody, who was it? Was one of those guys in the administration, and he went and pointed out all of the different alleged claims and then the margin of victory, and showed that there was more than enough questionable ballots to change the result in every one of those states. The issue is like proving it. I don't know. And there's like dozens of affidavits and whistleblowers and stuff. I think it's pretty crazy. I thought Robinhood bought them out to stop retail traders from toxifying their order flow or something like that. No, I think that Quantopian just failed on its own. Here's the thing. There's been this whole kind of cottage industry of sorts that has popped up where you request data from a REST API and then interpret it with a Python script, and that's how you trade, which I'm not terribly enthusiastic about. Like, I get that Python has some pretty cool machine learning algorithms and stuff built into it, or available rather, but I just don't feel like that what you're getting with that kind of data is really all that helpful. And so let's see here. Hillary conceded that night, but we spent millions of dollars in the following 4 years contesting the outcome of the election. Hillary didn't need to fight in media, and every dumb politician did. Yeah, but then in the end, nobody changed any laws or did anything. I read a 20-page forensics, so I didn't read a report per se, but I saw many reports about what was going on in Dominion. And what I read was that a lot of the evidence was like removed, like that logs and stuff had been deleted. And not only that, but that the system was just not secure at all. So this is where it's kind of hard to square away certain things. Like, there's no way they're going to overturn the election result, man. That's just not going to happen. But you cannot tell me that this election system is secure. You just can't. Sorry. I think it is so it is so maddening. I work in the healthcare industry, all right? The amount of grief that I go through on a daily basis because of regulations concerning private health information is just unreal. Like just the process and the auditing that is involved and everything else, like everything has to be checked. It's crazy. And then you have something that I think is far more important, voting, zero security on it, zero regulations on it. These Dominion guys basically do whatever they want. They send untrained workers in there to do whatever they want. They delete logs. It's unbelievable. And that doesn't prove that anything happened, but like, do you see how people are kind of deflecting as you come in and you say, well, there's election fraud, and here are some things that we see that we think are concerning. And instead of going in and fixing those things, they just say, no, there's no, we don't need to do anything. Can you see why people might think, well, why are they so adamant that you don't change anything unless they're committing voter fraud? That's the only thing that makes sense, right? Uzi says, we were all babbling our brains out about conspiracy theories and silliness for decades on the internet before. No, that's different, Uzi. I'm sorry, but that is different. So let me explain my own experience with, because this would be a good segue. I remember when 9/11 happened, right? And I remember it was mostly Democrats that I knew, but all these people saying, oh, it's George Bush. Jet fuel doesn't bend steel beams and all these things, right? Conspiracy theory. These people also tended to be anti-Semitic. They're always anti-Semitic. I don't get that one, but it's always anti-Semitic. And it was just George Bush, and it was just people doing crap, saying stuff on the internet. There was maybe like the Flat Earther forum that everybody would make fun of, and I think that was pretty much it. Well, what happened was Russia started to see this sort of thing, okay? The way that Russia operates is they have control over their people, right? So what they believe is their advantage in an informational war is having complete control over the people and the populace and centralized command type of stuff, and then spreading so much propaganda out there about so many different things that no reasonable person can actually determine what the truth is, right? So this is definitely the case that's going on with voter fraud. There are so many individual claims of voter fraud that, quite frankly, have not been fully investigated. I really don't think that any reasonable person can come to a real conclusion on it. It's quite disturbing that people are coming in and saying, there's no voter fraud, when it's like you haven't even done like a full investigation of it. Like this thing that went on in Georgia where they told the people to leave, and then why is there not an FBI investigation about that? Like if the FBI looked at it for a month and then came back and said there was nothing there, then maybe you would have a case, but like they're not even investigating it, right? You get what I mean? How much of what's going on right now is Russian disinformation? And I'm going to bet you that there probably is some. I will tell you that I am almost positive that the Donald's has been infiltrated by Russian disinformation agents, and quite seriously so. There was a significant amount of that activity on the Donald when it was on Reddit, and Reddit would ban the people and delete the posts and do all of this stuff. And now that they have moved over to the Donald.win, they do no such kind of filtering or policing, and these agents are getting through. The amount of crazy that you see there is just like through the roof. It does no longer represents the opinions of the people that I saw before. You go on the Donald now, and it's like being controlled by these people that are like, oh yeah, we're totally on January 6th. We're totally going to start a civil war and all this kind of crap. It's like there is serious insanity going on over there, right? And I'm pretty convinced that it's Russian disinformation agents. So here's what happened. Was the Russians started getting involved here mid-Obama. And so the deep state, let's call them, but really we're talking about U.S. intelligence agencies and defense apparatus. Okay. Their response to this was, oh no, like there's different disinformation out there. That's terrible. We need to do everything we can to stop this. Well, the correct response is to silence people, which has never been the U.S. way. Which has never been the U.S. way. You know what I mean? It's absolutely crazy. So here you have this Russian disinformation, and the response in the United States has always been, okay, so let's argue about it and prove why this is right or wrong. Right? And now the response is, we just need to quiet it down. Right? Imagine if on this whole issue of voter fraud, if the FBI, if there was like a special counsel investigation or the FBI came in and investigated voter fraud for a year. You know, remember when Donald Trump tried to investigate voter fraud and all of the states that are contested at this particular time all refused to provide the information that would have been necessary to prove that their election systems were secure. They all said like they fought it tooth and nail in the courts, and so the president eventually gave up on it, right? There you go. Fight disinformation with correct information, not censorship, is what Joe Rogan said, and I agree with him. And I agree with you, Stick, because you can't silence people. You literally can't. Not in the United States. And in fact, it seems to me that when you try and silence them, that it just makes things worse. Right? So it's absolutely a thing. And there's a reason why they're reacting to it differently these days. But now there's another dimension to this, and it's this. There's a lot of disinformation out there. And it is not evenly policed. So the Democrats get so uppity about Russian disinformation out there, and they completely ignore when Iran and China are doing it. When, in my opinion, the disinformation efforts by China and Iran have been far more successful. Yeah, we're in the disinformation age. Well, you remember, the next war is not going to be fought with bullets. It's already ongoing, and it's an information and economic war. Good morning, Ace. Man, I'm still looking at that drop and being like, ugh. I think that my buy was not unreasonable, but... Elf on the shelf, heck no. Burn that. I wouldn't discount the Cultural Revolution. Well, right. Like that's the thing is, like, now these countries, they're not just doing disinformation, but they're actually like, well, they're doing the same crap that the United States always did, frankly. Like, where do you think that they learned this stuff from, right? But they're creating like political movements in the United States and stuff to benefit their Chinese interests and Iranian interests, right? By the way, Gary popped in there, and we have to ask him about how he feels about his MP now, because that one took off, didn't it? That one really took off. MP and the Cold Storage Trust. Yep. The cold storage trust one, I mean, was it when we were talking about it, was it at 34 or something, right? That one moved up to a good amount. It wasn't nearly as crazy, but that one went up pretty good as well. I was frustrated because I was thinking about buying a little MP. Yeah, I'm already awesome. There you go. I was thinking about buying the MP one, but I was like, well, I want to get a good price on it, and then Kramer came out and started talking about it, and they took off. But that's okay. I'm making money off of the rare earth resources one. Oh wait, I'm not. I don't own any of these stocks. You don't know what I own. So I kind of feel like I need a new shopping list. But the other one was, there was another one though. What was the thing that was? Oh, no. I was going to ask, because some people in the market have been talking about oil coming back. Now, oil is kind of taking a hit the past 2 days, but before that, it was starting to look okay. But Gary was, pretty down on oil, and he was saying that he wasn't going to be positive on oil for years. So that was the thing that I was kind of wondering about. I was like, okay, so do you still feel negative about oil at this point? Or do you think that we could pick up, like, what was the one that that was getting pushed? I can't even remember now. There's one that actually had an okay day and then it came back. It seems to me that if we were going to get in oil, that we would still have some opportunity, but I don't know if oil is really going to go or not. The other one that we did, Sumo, that's the other one that we've been watching. That one's done amazing. That one's increased, almost doubled since its bottom. I mean, I started watching it more in 24 and it got almost all the way down to 15 and now it's 34. So that stock doubled from its bottom. Let's see here. What's Tesla doing in the pre-market? Down just a tad. Okay. Was that the long? Did I miss it? The market has been so constrained. I think I should go to bring down my targets here. I love earlier somebody saying, no wonder you only have 25 viewers. I was like, oh, well, okay, first of all, 25 viewers is actually not that bad for what we're doing. But number two, sometimes I do say things from time to time that I know people won't like. That's fine. But it's reality, right? Short-term oil is pricing based on vaccine and these quarantines. Yikes. Long-term, it's up to 60. Okay, but if there was a company, which of these stocks would you be getting into? And maybe you don't even have to be as specific as a stock. Perhaps it's maybe more like which section of the industry would you want to get into? Like, would you want to get into more of like a ConocoPhillips, that they're like the gasoline producers, and the people that often, or BP, that often get the oil itself? Or do you want to be more into like a Kinder Morgan, the people that are building the infrastructure and stuff? The World Health Organization changes the definition of herd immunity. Oh, they changed it so that herd immunity is only achieved by using a vaccine. That's hilarious. Think she'll run in 2024. Pipelines, natural gas, equipment makers for the frackers majors are good if you hold very long term. So I was thinking maybe Kinder Morgan. I'm going to take another look at it again. I'll tell you what I'll do. I will take a look here, and then at the beginning of the year in January, I will have gone through all of the companies, and I'll tell you which ones I think are working. And then you do the same thing, and we come back and we'll see what we think. And then if we like what we got, maybe we'll pick up an energy stock. I think that energy would be a good and diversification, and it's a place that it seems to me that there could be growth in that hasn't just pumped like everything else, right? You have a giant shopping list, yeah. So here's the thing, as I only want to have 5 companies, and I already basically got 3, right? Although one of them doesn't really count as a full position. And one of them I might have to. The one that I will, because you guys all know that I own that Goldman. It went so well on the Goldman. It's coming to the point where I may have to take some profits on that. It's not there yet, but it's coming. Where I would have to, or it'd be hard for me to justify holding it, and might need to move some of it around. Okay. Well, I tell you what, 8 ticks sure looks close in this action, doesn't it? It's kind of a curious drop there just before the open. Okay, Treasury's moving higher here. So it seems that we are, in fact, still in a downtrend. Oh, did you take a short, Ace? I thought you were going... Oh, I guess you flipped back around. I find it interesting that you will turn back around and hit it the other way a lot more quickly than me. Ireland confirms it will defy EU Commission advice to drop blanket GB travel bans. It is extending its travel ban until December 31st. There you go. Themes for 2021 EV. So I don't want to be involved in the EV market. That's too hot. Charging stations, all green energy, maybe. Healthcare, hospital service, delivery, device, farm, bio, REITs, and more. So REITs is one that I think I'd be interested in, yeah. I was also, like consumer discretionary, but maybe it's too late for the consumer discretionary, yeah. Okay, so off of that news, I am seeing the British pound moving down a little bit. E-mini first impulse down, but it's awfully tepid. No. Oh, you know what? I'm just realizing that I didn't. Why is the Marketeer linking me to so many zero hedge articles? Well, they're kind of like partners now, right? In fact, you can, if you sign up for the zero hedge premium, you will get market year posts that are actually pretty good that they don't post on Twitter. No, I guess we're just continuing to sell this, man. Jeez. So I've been trying to pick spots for like on the limit, and it's just not working out, is it? It's just the adverse selection every time. It's really bad. And it developing right there is pretty bad too. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in a row. Nope. So your bias is long in the yes? I think I would say yes. I'm skeptical about this run short. But right now I'm not doing very well, so I'm just going to take little ones here and see if I can work something out. I'm on a losing streak for sure. Of course, I'm trading on an experimental account here, so it's like this kind of action tends to be poor for me anyways. So I've barely gotten a tick of favorable excursion today. I'm just so awful about at this right now, aren't I? Holy shit, dude. Nope. Something about how I'm picking that price is really bad, man. Oh, like there's one finally goes a little bit for me. Even if those bad trades are just due to randomness, I don't really think that it's random, man. That's the thing that bothers me about it so much. You guys keep saying that it's random. I'm sorry, but 7 in a row is not random, man. It's just not. Especially when when it's 2 points both ways and you never get a single favorable tick. That's not random. And when you've taken it both ways, you're doing something wrong. Now that one worked. It's not random, it's too I don't think that the way that I'm taking these is very scientific at the moment. What I will say is that I am trying to get filled on limit, and I am kind of going into places where I see it come down and it's coming back a little bit. And so maybe a little too counter trend. Okay. We're getting some okay runs of buying here, but it's not significantly moving the cumulative delta so far. Although I'd also have to say that that 10-point move down or so that we had did not really result in a significant change in cumulative delta. It down, but not significant. 2,000 contracts, I guess, isn't huge. I believe the markets are somewhat random, and well, they're definitely random. There's definitely a large element of randomness to it, but that many in a row. And it happens to me so often too. So we got to figure out what it is that I'm about where I'm taking those that's so bad. Some of these were buys, but then like what? There was 2 cells in there that would have been okay sells at spots, and they flipped on it. So maybe those sells were just too late in the trend. Maybe that's what it was. Well, it looks like they're going to flip it up. I think so Winston is talking about pattern recognition, but I think the reality is that the patterns that you see in short-term time frames and futures are a way too complicated and nuanced for a person to necessarily master. And they change. I think I need something a little bit more empirical than that. Good point that Vlad pointing out that the dollar is recovering a little bit. So I'm thinking that move that we had was because of the whole UK news that we had there. Or not UK, I guess it was Ireland, right? Let's come over here to look at the stocks. Pre-mixed still. Tesla's down though. There are patterns I can see that just click on my brain, and then right after that happens, I can see a lot of traders hitting the books. Yeah, but how often does that happen? So if you look at that, that could be explained away as, you know, it doesn't happen very often, but when it happens and it just happened to coincide with when you bought, that you remember those times more than all the times that it didn't work. Okay, well, that one not coming back for us, but that's okay. Yeah, humans look for patterns. We are seeking animals. That is why we see faces in the clouds, right? So it kind of is like we're looking for empirical evidence, right? So if I'm taking a trade where I can't necessarily program it out, so I'm trying to take a trade manually, and I'm kind of doing it out by feel, and those all fail on me 6 times in a row, then that to me is some empirical evidence that that trade isn't very good. So the question is, why is it so bad? This is the question. This is the thing that I wonder. Why is it so bad? Well, I'll put one there, because I'm not sure that they're going to come back down to the other one. If there's a pattern in the randomness that my brain is picking up on, then there will be a lot of other traders picking up on it. Yeah, or maybe they'll fade it, or maybe it's just random, and if you keep trying to take that trade, then it won't work out. The question that you have to ask yourself is this: what empirical evidence do I have that suggests that it's a good trade? Okay, there's the open, or at least approaching the open. I was reading on my book the other day, and they were proving that the amount of money that you make from being on the limit order is essentially canceled out by the adverse excursion. So like just the purest market making is essentially break even, because what you make from the spread cancels out what you lose from adverse excursion. And they proved it mathematically. Well, that came back down awfully fast. But is there as much volume on it? I'm a little suspicious here. Only the smart can win. I think that if you come in here and you make a bunch of trades and you say, well, my edge is that I'm smarter than other traders, that you're probably not going to do too well. Right? So again, I ask, what empirical evidence do you have that suggests that it's a good trade? Now, when I take those ones, some of them I have some empirical evidence for, and some of them I don't. But I'm also trying to pick up on, just the order flow. And it tends not to work out, right? Or it tends to be streaky. So why is that? Well, one thing that we have is that most of those orders were buys. So is it that I was trading too much counter trend? And then by the time I did sell, we got to the 3078. I don't know what's special about that spot that it turned there, but some sort of support. You've never heard of Sierra Hotel, really? But you're from the military. I guess it's more of an Air Force thing. Bitcoin rebounds despite SEC attack on crypto industry. Like it barely did anything, dude. Okay, whatever. The regulators are coming, though. You think that the SEC attacking Ripple is the worst that's going to happen? Then make your entries better. I don't know what to tell you. Well, yeah, it's like. So, like, here's a great example. We could, well, actually, no, we could maybe not be long 3683 into 3/4. I'd never heard anyone say they were stitious. Yeah, they. You always have those counter arguments where your argument is complex, but then your counter argument goes off on a tangent and is lower quality. So which point was it that you thought was strong in the beginning? Was it the whole thing about IQ? I guess the thing is I'm not trying to make a point here, right? I'm asking you guys a question, right? The question is, okay, the evidence that we have is that the spot that I'm taking is bad. Why is that spot bad? And I keep hearing a bunch of like kind of, I don't know, maybe motivational stuff or things about the market, but it doesn't tell me why that location is bad. Could I short that location and make money? Seems like I could. Today I could have. So then, that's why I'm frustrated. It's like, well, it seems like you guys are trying to answer the question, but you're not even starting to go down the path that would be required for us to determine that, right? The first question that we have to ask ourselves is what is actually the trade? Right? Well, what is the spot that he's taking? Right? So that's where I was saying, okay, it was going down. I would see a spot where they built a little bit of volume. They dipped a little bit and weren't able to hold it. And that's where I'm kind of going, right? So is there something explicitly bad about that? And I should be trying to take the opposite of that trade? Or was it more just that I was buying when the trend was down and I was too early, and then I gave up on the long at exactly the wrong time, and it was just happened to be random in that particular instance when I decided to flip and so forth. Right? So that would be a theory. So then we could go about and think about how could we potentially prove that, right? So then we can come in and we can say, okay, well, how do we actually describe that action mathematically so that we can program the algorithm to take it? And then backtest it and see if it really does have like a negative edge and that you want to trade against it or something. Or if it's truly random, but it's just streaky. Because that's another potential, is it could be random, but it's streaky. So just say like 6 in a row is not random per se. But it could be streaky. Right? I'm trying to get you guys to think that way. Have rules and follow them and cut your losses fast and quick if you're wrong. Well, that's the thing, is that sometimes you might think that you have rules and then you look back on it and you think that maybe you're not as, that you've relaxed it or that you've become less systematic, or that you're not 100% sure you understand why what you were doing before was working. Or it may just be random. Because I certainly have a bias here, right? Okay. Oh, that was existing home sales negative 2.5 versus negative 1, and existing home sales 6.69 versus 6.7. That don't look terribly great, like terribly great numbers. I do think eggnog is made with eggs, and I don't know how you don't get sick from it. Maybe that's why you tend to drink it with alcohol. Hmm. New low coming here? Me the wrong way again? That there. Okay. Cough syrup is not holiday liquor. Well, I have to say, I do think the market is a little bit more active today than I thought it would be. I thought it would be a little bit quieter, and I thought it would be more tilted to the upside. Another thing I'm noticing about this action is that the spread is pretty tight. E-mini rotating around quite a bit there. Man, if I was in the E-mini, I'd probably be really frustrated too. Oh, I did put it there. Oh, you're still short? Should know over here in the cumulative delta is really choppy today. We've rotated around 2,000 contracts or so. Kind of means that, you know, we could still totally come up to that open and make new highs and stuff. If this had sold and we were down like 10,000 contracts, it'd be a totally different thing, right? Okay, cool. Yes, 40. So this move up, so there's some icebergs up here at the top, first of all, keep in mind, but a much more consistent volume trend on this uptrend than before, which is a key that I look for. But I'm just kind of looking at this overall, and it seems like, you know, I've been doing this now for a week or two. It seems to work out. I'm not happy about the amount of risk that I often have to put on to do it. And I just wish that I could get a better spot. I'm not sure what it is. So let me come back over here to the volume profile. Well, there is an edge of a profile from yesterday that did end up testing that. So maybe my problem is that I do need to pay a little bit more attention to some higher time frame spots. But maybe that's one of the disadvantages, is that I've been able to rely on my model so much that I'm not paying as much attention to some of the spots that other people are, and getting messed up because of that. Even a broken clock is right a couple of times a day, sure. I don't know. Like when you look at the past couple of days and the number of times that we've done this, even though I end up taking a lot of excursion and everything else like that, it usually goes in my favor. I bet you if I went back and did it, that I would probably be I'd probably be 8 of 10. But the excursion isn't right. Man, back down there again very easily. Okay, so that was a Brexit headline. I think that one could potentially reverse, to be honest with you. It's not hitting the wire yet. Hold on. EU diplomat, there's no breakthrough on Brexit talks. So I think the headline might not be thoroughly reflective of the news. In fact, it seems to me that there's not really actually news here. So we know that they're still talking about it. So new goals for the new year, dreams goals. Yeah, well, I'm just like, here's the thing is like I do that analysis all the time, okay? I have a specific thing that's a problem. I know it's a problem. I don't know what the deal is with it. If we were able to fix this one thing, then we could probably be exceptionally consistent. But the price selection is just turning into this incredibly tough nut to crack, you know? I've done a lot of back testings and stuff trying to fix these issues. And I find a lot of interesting things, but not the thing that I've been trying to find. So it's really frustrating. Looks like on that last run that it was like all the volume that came in and bought sold because they didn't get above the open or something. And then some absorption down in here. We'll see if they pull it out, if this next run is stronger or weaker. This market wants to chop. Oh, that's true too. One of the things that will happen to me in a situation like this is that it will chop and you don't take the profits on the upside. That's not good. If you're gonna play it like that, you do kind of have to take them off. Sharp day is normal after a wide day. Chop day is normal going into Christmas too, right? What is confusing to me, though, is that the tape, the pace of orders does not look like a chop, you know? It's maybe in another 15 minutes, if the current trend continues, it will turn into that. But I felt like there was some pretty decent movement off of the open and everything. And furthermore, when you look at 5-minute bars, like the 5-minute bars are a pretty big range, right? You have a modern furnace? I think it'd be fun to do it with coal. Probably not. Probably it's not actually fun. There's got to be a reason that they got rid of it, because if it was fun, then there'd still be a lot of people that do it. Where are all of the coal enthusiasts that say a coal furnace really heats your home up better? It's a special type of heat or something, you would think. Trading job is mispricing? I don't know about that. If they've agreed to a price, you'll see like a mid price and like in the 10-year. They have an agreed price and there'll be a mid price and they'll just hit around that mid price and that's it. That's not mispricing, that's like agreement. Is that what we're getting here in the E-mini too? I don't know. They had a pretty good move up there. They had some volume up behind it, but it did not get nearly as high. Might not be done yet. My mom was raised with the stove for the heat. She would stay in bed till her dad got out and started a fire to warm up the house. Think about her dad having to build a fire each and every day to keep his house from freezing, and I just push a button. Yeah. What? Whoa, wait, what? Goldman will offer wealth management to clients with as little as $1,000 now? You gotta be kidding me, right? I'm going to vomit, continuing with sappy words, just get blind lit and ring in the new year. There you go. Yeah, I'll still be here. In fact, I think I'll even be here New Year's Eve, but then the week after that, we'll be on hiatus. And I'll see you guys again on the new year. And hopefully, this time around, I'll actually get some good videos out of this time period, huh? Oh, Travis took that short? I tell you what, Travis confuses me a little bit. I'm wondering if it seems to me that Travis might have been curve fit too much. I think Travis is curve fit too much, and Reginald is a good trade, but isn't as common as I think. Brandon and Sean just haven't been trading at all, and I don't know what the deal is over there. But I think that I need to go and try some different setups with the lines. You always make those snappy tangential. Well, Sugar Daddy, if you want the world to be like, here's this one thing and that's it. But the thing is that trading requires or rewards nuance, right? It's the thing that not everybody picks up on. It's you know, that piece of information that the market misses that you tend to get rewarded for trading off of. So if we point out something, there's always got to be like the other side of it. Now, the other question, though, is going to be, because what's the pattern that we've been seeing is Travis will take one, and then we'll come in and we'll see Reginald take one. Show your trades today. Oh, so bad, dude. Look at this. I've actually made it back. Should have taken profits up there at the top, and then it would have been break even at the moment. But this one, I don't know how that's 6 trades, but if that's 6 trades, that should be $60. But there's 2 contracts that I haven't taken the profits on. That's why. So they're all supposed to be 10. Travis is not one of Seth's lovers. I mean, you don't know. Maybe I'm a robotosexual. Just kidding. What's the difference between an agreement on a price chop and lack of directional movement? I'm not sure that they're, well... So when you see that kind of action in the tape, I think that there's this disconnect here between the behavior that you see in the tape and the change in perceived value that may or may not be going on behind it, right? So the first thing that we got to realize is there's a difference between making prices and reflecting prices, right? So is it that the S&P 500 is worth less and that's why it's dropped down because of that? Or is it because people are selling it? And there's going to be a little bit of both, I think. So when we're not getting a whole lot of movement, and you identified kind of 3 ways to do it, right? One is that you could get well, really two, right? You could get a situation where it just doesn't move very much at all, and they're just completely agreed on the price, or it could be a chop back and forth. And what you're going to see is more common is going to depend very much on what instrument you're using. But the reality is that I think that, either of those situations could have different underlying causes. So you can have a situation where there's a significant disagreement in the market and both sides are fighting for their side, and the price just stays still or price chops. And you can get situations where just nobody is really all that interested in trading it, and so you get where price doesn't move at all or price chops. Well, this trend after the little kind of drop back down, even though they didn't get back up to that high immediately, the volume is starting to look a little consistent, a little bit more consistent, at least. I'm thinking of something about Travis. I'm wondering maybe when I back tested it, was it 1 minute bars? It was. U.S. imposes sanctions on Central Bank of Syria. Omar. Oh man, Ilhan Omar calls out AOC for taking COVID vaccine before the elderly or frontline workers. This is nonsense. Let me explain this about a little battle tip for you guys, because this one's kind of funny. Vaccines were procured and set aside for members of Congress. If the members of Congress choose not to use them, they don't go anywhere else. It just stays there and waits for the member of Congress to do it. So some members of Congress thought that they would virtue signal and not take the vaccine first, but then other ones realize that it doesn't matter, because them not taking the vaccine doesn't result in somebody else being able to take the vaccine that otherwise wouldn't. But they're still trying to virtue signal out of it. And so now some of the super far left people, I guess, are fighting against each other over this stuff. E-Trader says, I did not have any profit for 3 weeks. I don't know why. The past 3 weeks? This is the thing, is that, like, the first time that I'm always going to be looking at, like, okay, so what was the action like, and what is the strategy like, and what is there some things that would make the strategy not so good? Like, I know that in choppy action that I tend to have a more difficult time. That's why I'm trying to trade it. That's why I'm using the strategy that I am today, because they know that this is a strategy that works better in chop. Yeah. But sometimes you get into this situation where you're like, well, should be good, or there's nothing particularly special about this action, and I just don't understand why I'm not doing very well. What's the deal with that? Sometimes it's hard. Day trading, no, but that's just description. I'm talking about prediction of future movement. Well, so we're getting some large orders popping up here, by the way. I think I'm quitting. Well, what I would tell you is you can just trade sim, right? Like, if you truly don't enjoy it and you're not having success, then sure, maybe quitting is better for you. But if you truly enjoy it, then what you should do is you should continue to work and trade it on sim. And what will happen is if you work and you're doing intentional stuff, okay, like if you just trade it randomly and see what happens, then that's a different thing. And maybe sometimes I do that. I find that when I'm not in a period of time where I think I'm going to do way, sometimes I just screw off. But I've been trying to take it more serious. Today I did. I was complaining. I was mad about what was happening, but I didn't give up on it, did I? And what will happen is you will continue to learn and get better at it. And maybe eventually the market that you really understand and that is advantageous to you will come. And because you continued to work, you'll be ready. You see what I mean? Like, say, for instance, like a good example would maybe be like a different market showed up. So like a different market did show up. It was water. Of course, we don't have the capital to trade the water, but that might be an opportunity for you, right? Or some market that you know a ton about or something all of a sudden shows up, right? And when you get a market like that, you get a lot of people coming into, or new people coming into it. And you might get some of those new people don't know anything. They're not familiar enough with trading, and you have this big advantage on them when things just get going. I think that this happened for a lot of people in Bitcoin, right? So some of the people that started trading Bitcoin early on and they knew how to trade had a big advantage on the people because it was an immature market. So the question is not, am I doing well or am I not doing well? The question is, do you enjoy doing it? Do you find some sense of greater purpose in doing it? And if you do, then you can continue to do it forever. And maybe you never make money from it, but you can keep going. Because you wouldn't care about the money so much as you care about just doing your best with it. No job is more scalable than this? I don't know. Yeah, and you can talk to Ace. You could try a couple of different things. I mean, the question that I would ask is, what is your strategy based off of? Because the where I would be looking at it is, or the way that I approach it is, I say, okay, here's the strategy that I use and what it's good at and bad at, and where's the weakness in it, and how do we need to work that out? Discord crashed or something. It disappeared on me. Oh, I guess it decided to update. Okay, well. So this area looks fairly balanced, right? Only a 90% win rate. What a loser. What is this guy in the equity index is going on about? Oh, that's Striker posting something. What did he post? Oh, wow. 14 out of 15. How is he doing that? He must be taking really big losers, so. No, it's the largest loser. Wasn't that bad. It's 1 day's worth of stuff, but wow, how does he do that? Oh, he says he's stopping while he's ahead. That's interesting. So he thinks that he just had a really good day. My girlfriend rides one of those chemtrail planes. I'm still waiting for my jetpack. Jetpacks are coming soon, man. I'm seeing a lot of interesting jetpack projects. So what happened in the Delta here is really interesting, right? And you see that 1,000, that's why that dropped so quickly, was because of this guy that bought at 36.88 and a half. Yeah, I probably did go off on tangent and do that a lot. No, but I think I finished the 10, whatever it was that was on. Well, I asked the question and then we didn't get the. I don't know. If you don't like people that go off on tangents, you're probably not going to enjoy me for too long. Because I just kind of go along with whatever we're talking about or whatever I'm thinking about. I can't wait to buy a jetpack at a super affordable paltry 16 oil fields. You can get them off of Amazon. No, you what? I've seen prototypes. Well, I asked the question, but he didn't say what his strategy was, so that's okay. So, in fact, they did do it. So remember I was saying, well, the thing that tends to happen is Travis will take one and then that'll fail and then Reginald will take one. And here it is, it's happening again. Now Reginald wants to go long. We'll see if he gets it. That is so formulaic, it's scary. How is that happening? The thing that I find so weird about it was that when I wrote the strategies, they were kind of different ways of taking advantage of the same kind of behavior that I had been seeing. So to see them trading like that is really bizarre. Oh, I see. There's no filter on Travis. So Travis could totally take it the wrong way. There is one on, there's quite a bit of. So the issue with Reginald that you'll get is that he'll take it after it's really been going on for a long time. You know what I mean? What was your favorite? Yeah. So it's what he's asking is, I'll actually do it like this, like come over to Ninja Trader. If you're doing it in Ninja Trader, and go to new trade performance. And then you pull up this. Are these all of the sim trades that these are all the sim trades that the robots have taken in the last week, I guess. Oh, no. They're going back further than that. Well, sure, we'll let it go that far. Anyways, you may have to come back in here and do generate. Anyways, and then it'll come in and it'll tell you things like, what is your average MAE and average MFE, which means an average adverse excursion, which is once you get into a trade, how far back does it come back on you? And conversely, if it goes your way, how far does it go your way before you get out? Do you get out at the top, or do you let it come back on you a little bit and then you get out? That sort of a thing. And then you can come in here and you can go to this analysis page and you can say, what is the MAE and MFE? Right? So look, these ones do tend to get a little bit of favorable excursion, for instance. That's what it means. So, if we were to quantify the issues that I've been having, the issues that I've been having is that the MAE that I've been getting on my discretionary trades is way too high. Fortunately, I don't know of any easy way to, improve your adverse excursion. Presumably, the way that I've been trading it is supposed to help, but it hasn't. It's okay. It looks like you're getting a little bit of a downturn here. Not surprised considering all of the big boy action that we had up there at the top. That doesn't mean that it's going to go down. In fact, I think there's a pretty good chance that we come down here and base out, potentially. Okay, so Reginald gets stopped out too. Which is exactly what happened last time, isn't it? Travis goes down, tries to go short, doesn't work out. Then Reginald tries to go long, doesn't work out. And then, yeah. I think for Travis could work out, but he needs a filter. This is his problem. He needs some more filters added on. Travis is naked. We need to put a filter on him. Yeah, that's basically exactly it. Italy to start COVID vaccinations at nursing homes and health staff. Good deal. I hear a really big plane outside. Okay, so that was that downturn. They're starting to flip back up. We'll see. Not much to say about it right now. It's just kind of gotta wait to see what he does, I guess. No, it doesn't sound. I don't know if it's actually playing. Sounds more like a snowblower. Okay. I wonder if maybe somebody big was selling it up there, because there's some pretty big orders there. It's sputtered out, and as it's been going down, you've been seeing slightly more activity from large offers. Fighter jet scrambled after Russian-Chinese military aircraft enters South Korean defense zone. Wow, what? That is curious. China says it was just routine training. Okay. So I don't know what happened to my profit loss over here on the side. Something's up with that. Travis is going short again. Wait, what the hell happened? That is so fucking weird, dude. So my position window shows it too. Like it thinks that I bought at 12017. Is that where the NQ is at? Yeah, it must be confused. It must have me confused and thinks that I bought NASDAQ or something. Must be a bug with Jigsaw's sim thing with journalytics. Like it says a minus 166,000. How's that freaking possible? NASDAQ is struggling here, by the way. NASDAQ struggling and kind of shoving the E-mini down with it. Hmm. No, well, the treasuries are coming back down. I do see the euro is just taking a real plunge. The dollar looking a little strong. It seems like that's the main thing here. See you later, Daddy. Sugar Daddy. The thing that's funny with Travis is that it's supposed to be an area in which you're catching some momentum off of the order flow, but you can see that it doesn't really actually get it, does it? It's like it almost immediately flips there. Although historically, supposedly, it does okay. So it may be this kind of action and stuff. And maybe if this was more of a trendy day, then he would be doing better. Because it should be, it really is set up to take trades more in trendy action. Maybe if I close this. No, that doesn't do it either. Well, man, I'm mad because I want to keep track of this. I can't even see where my average position is anymore. Hmm. So close there and it can't get to it. It's frustrating. When the buying comes in, they seem to be able to push it, but they just don't go quite far enough. Right? Okay, there we go. Okay. Looks like Travis gonna be wrong again, huh? On this one, it wasn't like it was a bad trade per se, as it was just didn't quite get enough out of it, right? Oh my gosh, what's going on here? Oh, that was a little weird. Do you see how they reached for 36.84 and 3/4, and then as soon as it hit, it kind of there was a flurry of orders and they came back 4 ticks. Now they're back up to it again. Let's see if they do it that again. Measure the move correctly because the trade from my perspective, Travis, was short or spot on. Yeah, well, I mean, it's kind of, I wouldn't say spot on. The thing that it catches here is it detects a change in the momentum, essentially. I think the issue is, first of all, is that the first change that it detects is probably not necessarily going to get it there. So he might be able to wait a bit or maybe try for a higher price. Maybe. Like if he had gotten here, then it would have been good, right? But instead he got that price right there. Which actually didn't even actually trade. anyways, if you had taken it there, it would have hit the limit order. So you understand this. I back tested this over a year. That I wish that I could do more than a year, but you know, it's order flow, so it would take like all day if I was going to run it on 4 years. I actually did run it on 2 years at one point, and it did okay on the year before. So I was like, okay, let's try it. It is, though, it's weird because it is a momentum trade. Oh, you know what? I'm sorry. When I was looking over here. Oh, no, I got it right. I pulled it much further back. So now you can see Reginald. You know, Reginald got trapped, right? This is bad action for Reginald, and he took it anyways, and you can see how that turned out. So it seems like that some big guys knew too, and kind of knew that that was a strategy or something, and took it exactly in that spot. Though it could just be coincidence, but. So weird. So let's try something here. I'm just going to close Jigsaw. Okay. Didn't fix it. Hmm. I really want to know why that is. Why it's doing that. That's so weird. I'll take a picture of that. They have a new way to submit bugs now, don't they? I guess I have to paste it into a picture. And Well, let's see what it shows in Journalytics. Just show today's. It's all screwed up. This is bugging Journalytics. That's frustrating, man. That was interesting. So then they stopped Travis out. Well, I'll tell you what, man. Them robots not doing so hot. I guess today is a day where I wouldn't necessarily expect them to do amazing. I'm gonna post it in the chat room. Well, let's see if Reginald comes back in here again, then goes short. freaking look at the picture and it's like, what the fuck? Oh, okay. So like Jarvis, but for stocks. No, but okay. Have you updated Day Trader in the past day or so? Was there a new version that I missed? No, I don't think so. That keyboard is so bassy. Well, it's bad. It's not the keyboard. It's the fact that the microphone is on the desk. Okay, so I'm hearing more Brexit these things. I'm wondering if after the European close that this will kind of trail off. But that's when I stop trading these days, so we'll see. I think that they'll recover it again. I think that you'll see a little bit of a melt up. Oh, I don't think it'll be as crazy as yesterday. Yeah, Travis finally stopped out. I have to spend a lot more time with these. Because that just seems so bad. EU Brexit negotiator Barnier has told ambassadors that the latest UK offer on fisheries is unacceptable. The EU side has made it clear that it is ready to negotiate to the end of the year and beyond. Man, where do you think you get that price from too, by the way? It thinks that I am long from 14,795.83. What is trading at that price? That's not even the Nasdaq is trading at that price. It's just crazy. I guess Mr. Barnier was going to do a press conference and they've pushed it back. Well, I don't know if there's any point in me trying to keep this, so yeah. Because no matter what I do, it's just going to read as a huge negative print. That's so fucking weird. And the average price changed when I got out. What the hell? So if I take this short, come on. Then it's perfectly fine. Well, I kind of didn't. I don't know. I mean, I had an order up there, so. I'm not going to get much useful data out of today because of all that. Well, anyways, I guess it's time for me to get going. Back what I miss. Well, the jigsaw screwed up, did something really weird. Anyways, I will catch you guys tomorrow.